What if I told you that eating vegetables, something you've always believed was healthy, could quietly raise your risk of a stroke in your sleep? No pain, no warning. One moment, you're reading a book or watching TV. The next, you can't speak or move your arm. As a brain doctor, I've seen this heartbreaking pattern again and again, especially in people over 60 who were doing everything right. They ate clean, exercised, avoided sugar, and yet they still had strokes. So what went wrong? The truth is, not all vegetables are safe for everyone, especially not in certain combinations or at certain times of day. Some common veggies in your fridge may increase blood pressure, thicken your blood, or even trigger clot formation if you're taking medications, have kidney issues, or are slightly dehydrated. And yes, this can happen even if you're eating healthy smoothies, salads, or stir-fries. I know this may sound shocking, but understanding which vegetables to be careful with could protect your memory, your independence, and your ability to enjoy life without fear. That's why I created this video for you. If you're over 60 or love someone who is, please watch until the end. You might learn something that truly saves a life. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to Health 365 and leave a comment to let us know if you've been eating any of these vegetables daily. You're not alone. Now let's go through the 7 vegetables that may quietly increase stroke risk overnight, and what to do instead. Let's start with something that might truly surprise you. Spinach. That leafy green you've trusted for years, maybe in a salad, a smoothie, or steamed on your dinner plate, can actually raise your stroke risk if you're over 60 and not careful with how you eat it. Now you might be thinking, wait, spinach? I thought that was one of the healthiest foods out there. And yes, it does have great nutrients like vitamin K, folate, and iron. But here's what most people don't know. Raw spinach is very high in oxalates. Oxalates are natural compounds found in many plants. In small amounts, they're not usually a problem. But when eaten every day, especially raw, they can bind with calcium in your blood and form tiny crystals. Over time, this may contribute to hardening of the arteries, blood clots, or even kidney strain. And that becomes much more dangerous if you're already dealing with mild dehydration, very common at night, taking blood thinners like warfarin or aspirin, or supplementing with calcium or vitamin D. And here's the hard part. Most people don't feel any warning. You go to bed thinking you've made a healthy choice, and you might wake up with slurred speech or weakness in one arm. It's silent. It's sudden. And I've seen it too many times. But here's the good news. You don't have to stop eating spinach. You just need to cook it lightly. A quick steam or sauté reduces the oxalate content dramatically, making it far safer for older adults. And if spinach is something you're using in green smoothies every day, it might be time to rotate in other greens like romaine or bok choy, which are much lower in oxalates. Remember, after 60, it's not just about what you eat, but how and when you eat it that matters. Our bodies change, and we have to adjust with them. And if spinach caught you off guard, just wait until you hear about the next vegetable. A root that's often juiced for heart health, but could dangerously drop your blood pressure in the middle of the night. Let's talk about it. One that often surprises people. Beets. Bright, earthy, and often labeled a superfood, especially for heart health. Maybe you've enjoyed beet salads or even sipped beet juice in the morning, thinking it would help lower your blood pressure. And yes, it does. Sometimes a little too well. Beets are naturally rich in nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide, a compound that helps relax blood vessels and lower blood pressure. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. If you're already taking blood pressure medications, especially at night, adding beet juice or large amounts of beets can push your blood pressure too low, especially while you're sleeping. Low blood pressure during the night can lead to dizziness when you wake up, blurry vision, fainting, or in worse cases, a lack of blood flow to the brain, something that can contribute to a mini-stroke or even a major one. And just like spinach, beets also contain oxalates, which can be hard on the kidneys, especially for older adults whose kidney function may not be as strong as it once was. So, does that mean you need to give up beets entirely? Not at all. The key is moderation and timing. Instead of drinking pure beet juice daily, try eating small portions of cooked beets a few times a week, preferably with meals rather than on an empty stomach. And if you're on blood pressure meds, it's best to talk to your doctor before making beets a regular part of your diet. You can also try mixing beets with other vegetables to reduce the nitrate load. For example, add a few slices to a mixed salad or soup instead of having them as a concentrated juice. Remember, it's not about fear. It's about balance and awareness. After 60, even healthy foods need to be approached with more care. And speaking of balance, the next item might be sitting right on your kitchen counter. It's a tiny powerhouse known for its flavor and heart health benefits. But if you're on blood thinners, it could silently increase your bleeding risk overnight. Let's talk about garlic, something you probably use every single day. Garlic. Whether you sauté it with vegetables or add it to soups, it's been praised for centuries as a natural medicine. And it is powerful. Garlic can help lower cholesterol, support the immune system, and even improve circulation. But here's where it gets tricky, especially if you're over 60 and taking blood thinners. Garlic, especially raw garlic, acts as a natural anticoagulant. That means it makes your blood thinner, much like medications such as aspirin, warfarin, Coumadin, or Plavix. And while that might sound helpful, combining too many blood-thinning agents, whether from your pharmacy or your kitchen, can quietly push your body into dangerous territory. You might not feel anything at first. No pain, no dizziness. But suddenly, a small bump on your head, a tiny fall, or even a cough could lead to internal bleeding, and in serious cases, a brain hemorrhage. I've known patients who fainted unexpectedly or became confused, only to discover later that a bleed had occurred in the brain, with no warning signs at all. So what should you do? If you love garlic, and many of us do, you don't have to stop using it. But you should be cautious about eating raw garlic daily, especially if you're already on prescription blood thinners. Instead, try using lightly cooked garlic, which still offers benefits but is less intense in its blood-thinning effect. A little garlic in your stir-fry or stew is often safer than raw garlic paste or crushed garlic on an empty stomach. And most importantly, let your doctor know if you regularly eat garlic as part of your routine. They may need to adjust your medication or monitor your blood more closely. Being proactive now could save you from a very serious emergency later. And speaking of hidden dangers, the next vegetable may look completely harmless. It's soft, mild, and often baked or grilled. But inside, it holds a natural compound that can quietly constrict your blood vessels and limit blood flow to your brain. Now, let's move on to a vegetable that seems completely harmless: eggplant. Soft, spongy, and easy to cook. Maybe you've baked it with olive oil, tossed it into a stew, or grilled it alongside your dinner. But here's something most people don't realize. Eggplant contains a natural chemical called solanine. Solanine is found in nightshade vegetables, like potatoes, tomatoes, and, of course, eggplant. In small amounts, it's not dangerous. But if you're over 60, especially if you have circulation problems, high blood pressure, or neurological conditions, solanine may cause your blood vessels to tighten, a process called vasoconstriction. And when your blood vessels constrict, guess what happens? Less blood gets to your brain. Over time, This can increase the risk of forming small clots or triggering mini-strokes, especially if you already have narrowed arteries or if you eat eggplant too frequently. Some older adults have even reported feeling lightheaded or foggy after meals heavy in eggplant, without knowing why. And while this won't happen to everyone, it's worth paying attention to if you eat eggplant multiple times per week or feel a bit off afterward. So, what can you do? First, never eat eggplant raw. Cooking it thoroughly helps break down some of the solanine and makes it much safer. Second, limit your eggplant dishes to once or twice a week, especially if you have vascular issues or take medications that affect blood pressure or circulation. And third, consider swapping in vegetables that are more circulation-friendly, like carrots, squash, or pumpkin. They're rich in antioxidants, but don't carry the same vasoconstrictive risks. Now, coming up next is a vegetable that often shows up in healthy stir-fries or soups, especially in Asian cuisine. It looks harmless, grows quickly, and is even considered a clean food. But for women over 60, it could quietly affect hormone balance and blood clotting. Let's talk about soybean sprouts. Mom things small, crunchy, and often seen as a symbol of freshness. Soybean sprouts. They're light, clean, and easy to add to soups, salads, or stir-fries. Many older adults love them because they feel healthy and gentle on the stomach. But here's what most people don't realize. Soy sprouts are rich in phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens are plant-based compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. For younger people, this might not be a big issue. But for women over 60, especially those who are postmenopausal, this can create a delicate hormonal imbalance. And for some, it may increase the risk of blood clots, particularly if you're already taking hormone replacement therapy or have a family history of clotting problems. Even for men, excessive phytoestrogen intake over time could potentially affect metabolism or hormone-sensitive conditions. Now, to be clear, soybean sprouts are not bad. They have protein, fiber, and vitamins. The issue comes down to how much and how often you eat them. If you enjoy soy sprouts, here are a few tips to stay safe. Always cook them lightly. Stir-fried or blanched is best. Cooking helps reduce the phytoestrogen activity compared to eating them raw. Don't overdo it. Eating a handful here and there is fine, but large servings every day, especially for older women, could quietly influence your body in ways you don't feel until there's a problem. Talk to your doctor if you're on hormone therapy or blood clot medications. Many people don't realize that even small foods like this can interact with prescriptions in the long run. The takeaway? You don't need to avoid them forever. Just treat them like a supplement, not a staple. Next, we're going to look at something most people keep in their fridge year-round. It's sour, crunchy, and often homemade. But its high salt content could quietly send your blood pressure soaring, especially during the most vulnerable hours of the night. Let's talk about pickled vegetables. Something familiar, especially if you grew up with home-cooked meals. Pickled vegetables. Maybe it's sauerkraut, kimchi, or simply homemade cucumber pickles. They add crunch, flavor, and a little nostalgia to every meal. But here's something important to know. Most pickled vegetables are loaded with sodium. And for anyone over 60, especially those with high blood pressure or heart concerns, that much salt can be a real problem, especially at night. Here's why. When you eat salty foods, your body holds on to water. This increases your blood volume, and that pushes your blood pressure higher. For younger people, the body adjusts quickly. But as we age, our blood vessels become less flexible, and the kidneys don't clear sodium as efficiently. That means your blood pressure can spike and stay elevated, especially while you're sleeping. High nighttime blood pressure is one of the most dangerous patterns for older adults. It's a major risk factor for strokes, mini-strokes, TIAs, and even heart failure. And the worst part? You won't feel it coming. You may go to bed feeling fine, and wake up with slurred speech, numbness, or not wake up at all. So, does this mean you have to give up your favorite pickled side dishes? Not necessarily. Here's what you can do. Make your own pickles at home using less salt, or try low-sodium recipes that still have flavor but won't spike your blood pressure. Watch the timing. Avoid eating pickled vegetables at night or close to bedtime, when your body is most sensitive to salt. Check food labels if you're buying store-bought options. Some pickles can contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium per serving. Remember, a little tangy crunch can still be part of your diet. It just needs to be smarter, not saltier. Now, there's just one more vegetable left on this list, and it might shock you the most. It's bright, juicy, and often labeled as heart-healthy. But if your kidneys aren't working perfectly, this fruit-like vegetable can quietly raise your risk of irregular heartbeat and stroke. Let's talk about tomatoes. Juicy, vibrant, and packed with antioxidants like lycopene, tomatoes are often celebrated as a heart-healthy food. Many people over 60 enjoy them raw in salads, sliced on sandwiches, or even juiced in the morning. But here's something most folks don't hear often enough. Tomatoes are also very high in potassium. And that's where the concern comes in, especially if your kidney function isn't what it used to be. As we age, the kidneys naturally slow down. They may not filter potassium from the blood as efficiently, especially if you've ever been told you have borderline kidney function or have conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure. When potassium builds up, it can cause irregular heart rhythms, muscle weakness, or even a sudden spike in stroke risk. The tricky part is, high potassium doesn't cause pain or any obvious warning signs. You may feel a little tired or dizzy, or feel nothing at all, until something serious happens. And it's not just fresh tomatoes. Tomato juice, tomato paste, and sauces are often concentrated sources of potassium. Drinking tomato juice daily, especially in large amounts, can quietly tip your potassium levels into a danger zone. But does this mean you should avoid tomatoes entirely? Not at all. Here's a safer approach. Cook your tomatoes. Cooking reduces potassium concentration per serving and helps your body better absorb lycopene, the powerful antioxidant that supports heart health. Watch the portion size. A few slices with your meal is fine, but avoid large raw servings or daily tomato juice unless your doctor has cleared it. And if you've ever been warned about high potassium or kidney issues, ask your doctor if tomatoes should be eaten more cautiously. Remember, tomatoes can still be a part of your diet. You just need to know when and how much. Now that we've walked through these 7 surprising vegetables, you might be wondering, so what should I do moving forward? Let's wrap this up with a few simple, empowering takeaways just for you. After 60, your body changes. Quietly, gradually, but very real. Foods that once supported your health may now need to be adjusted. It's not that spinach, beets, or tomatoes are bad. It's that your timing, portions, and combinations matter more than ever. A simple smoothie or side dish could either support your brain or slowly increase your stroke risk without you knowing it. But don't let that overwhelm you. You're not broken. Your body isn't failing. It's just changing. And with the right knowledge, you can still enjoy your favorite foods while protecting your heart and mind. If today's video helped you see things more clearly, please give it a like. Leave a comment below to share your thoughts or experience, and don't forget to subscribe to Health 365 for more simple, science-based tips made just for you. Your health deserves clarity, not confusion.